Well, I wonder how that boycott WB turned out. Next up on Just Talk, so let's talk about it. And welcome to Flicks, Picks, and the Nitpicks, and I am your humble host, Nove718. And let's just get into the talk. And I asked the question, how does that boycott WB work out for all you guys that wanted to boycott WB? Because now there is no Snyderverse. We're gonna do a lot more discussions on it. I'm back at it. You're gonna be following this channel. You're gonna get a whole lot of content. I just had to come with it right out the gate. This is gonna be a short boy, but this is the question that I asked. How is that hashtag boycott WB work out for you? Because now you boycotted it. They got James Gunn in, and now the slate will be wiped clean. So I asked, how was boycotting Black Adam? Because you didn't go see it. I see everybody, and we're going to get into everything that's going on with Zachary, and I think that you guys got some fucking nerve. But we're going to get to that another day. We're going to really just talk about this in specific, because I think that YouTubers are the ones that perpetuate some of the most insane and cutting off your nose to spite your face aggressive campaigns for their so-called fandom. The aggression is, I understand, is there's a level of entertainment to it. There's a later element of guys chopping it, barbershop talk. But what I've noticed is that there's a level of people that go into fan spaces and insert a lot of their personal angst against politics and all the rest of it. And ever since that one person created "You Destroy My Childhood," people's run amok. It was very tongue-in-cheek and funny, to the point where if anything you do is not the script I had in my head, then I don't want to deal with it. It's corny, it's stupid, it's ridiculous, and then they look for bigger, stronger, more offensive words to shut down the argument, make a big angst about it, damn near want to throw a fucking chair at the wall and lose their shit over it, all because the movie didn't do what they wanted. Now, this is a fan channel, man. I get fandom. I understand how emotionally attached you guys can be, and you can live vicariously through it. Some of these people are the same ones that will argue, especially in other spaces, when they use the term self-insert. They'll be like, look at all these people self-inserting these sexualities and they're this and they're that into these characters that were never like that, and you would be right. But if the owners of the characters take these characters in a different direction, you're the same one that said, well, that's not what my character would do. That's not what my character would do. Yada, yada, yada. And you're self-inserting because you're not the character. I see this a lot. And a lot of it's going on in some parts of Power Ranger fandom, but specifically throughout the comic book movie franchises, the big two, you see this a lot. If it's not the character I remember growing up, that I lived vicariously through, then I don't want to see. Not only do I not want to see it, I will open up a channel to talk trash on it and search anybody that's talking about it, and if it's something good, I am there specifically to poo-poo all over your good faith arguments over what you seem to like. Just is what it is. I asked someone before in the comment section of a Power Rangers video while we was talking, and they said something about, oh, Jason should be with Trini and some real weird stuff, and I was like, well, that's not actually in the comment. Zach was with Trini. They kind of retroactively added this weird nothing burger between her and Jason, which, to be honest, you couldn't see neither chemistry between either one of them on screen in the show, at least if you would have watched it back then. But if you look at some old clips, she did have some physical chemistry with one of the two Rangers. But that's not the point of this discussion. The point is, I asked the guy, I said, are you making that comment because Jason's just your favorite character? And the guy said, oh, so what if it is? I was like, oh, all right, then I'll give you that. Because if it's just your favorite character, all right, then this is not an argument. This is just you not getting what you want, or self-inserting yourself into the Red Ranger so you can have the best of everything, all the helmets, the greatest Red Ranger ever, yada, 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 because you feel like that's your favorite character you live vicariously through. And I don't knock it, man. Can't knock it at all. So, but my point being is, you guys tend to be exactly the enemy in the mirror. The guy that you argue about, you have damn near all of those traits. So then we got to go back to it again and ask the question now. Did boycotting WB really work out well for you guys? So look, my thing is where no one laid out a strategy. I'm not mad at the boycott Warner Brothers thing until you get what you want. But what were you going to do other than that? Because other than boycotting, I'm not going to pay my money till they bring Zach back. I'm not going to do this entitled stuff. And look, hey, I want Zach back. Look at my channel. My channel clearly suggests that. But I'm not trying to take on the characteristics of the people that removed the director from the project, which I thought was a perfect marriage. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think there should have been certain things I would have rather Zack Snyder not have done, but you know, he has to go against some sort of level of expectations in order to give us something not only different, but something to surprise us, to make it refreshing. But that said, the moment you don't allow a creator to do exactly what they were sent to do, their job is to create, then we're no different than what happened to Zack Snyder. And that was just something that a line I wanted to make sure I walked on the right side of. I didn't want to fall on the side of the other guys. That being said, what was the boycott going to do? Because no one went to see Black Adam, which gave all the more reason just to start it all over again. No excuses. Wipe the whole slate clean. And even as they wipe the whole slate clean, everybody is mad because they're not in the boardroom with all the decisions. And within, the guy wasn't even in the chair for more than maybe 3 months and gave you basically his phase 1 or his chapter 1, if you will, and you guys is still not enough information. These movies are supposed to cascade all across 10 years, and you guys want this extremely intimate relationship with the studio head so he could go over everything to make sure it gets past the audience's checks and boxes, and I don't think that that's the way to go. That being said, now, did it work? Now, right now, we know Zack Snyder has a SnyderCon coming up. Now, word around the campfire is, for the most part, this is going to be his bon farewell, or bon voyage, if you will. His coup de grace, if you will. Like, this will be the final end of the whole restore the Snyderverse thing. That's what everyone's saying. Is there possibilities that it could come out? Yes, we'll talk a little bit about all the possibilities on Road to Snyder Cut. But for now, did boycotting and not going to see Black Adam and Shazam really help your plights? The crash and fall of Black Adam ruined every. To be honest, if we all, I should say, gone to see Black Adam and made that a $1 billion movie, oh, you would have seen these characters continue, because you would have had Black Adam, and he's already setting up for Superman. to be part of the fold. And after that, if Shazam would have made, at least The Rock would have been the one person we would have had in the franchise's corner that could argue for more films, for more. Now, to be honest, if it would have done real well, I really don't think James Gunn would have continued anyway. And to be honest, he probably was better off not. Because then you'd have to try to tie this to, or it would have been just a whole hot mess to find a way to detangle, discard, and continue with what works. Because clearly, with Aquaman doing $1 billion and Black Adam would have did $1 billion, and let's say Shazam would have did $6 billion, you would have had these going into a Flash that if that would have even worked out, you would have been hitting it 1, 2, and 3. Then if Aquaman would have came in, there would have been another $1 billion movie, and let's say Blue Beetle worked. Oh, James Gunn would have had a hard time trying to get rid of all of those, because those still are byproducts of what Snyder has started. Maybe not so much Blue Beetle, but Blue Beetle comes out of that weird gray area, because these are the characters that Zack Snyder had casted, and it would have been better leverage and argument for them to continue. I understand the fact that this was also part of the new direction in this weird makeshift Zack Snyder light that they were trying to do and make it lean into more of a Marvel type of feel. So, I mean, how was that going to work out? Because you either was going to go with The Rock leading the charge, who might have had enough leverage had his film done very well to get elements of Zack Snyder, elements of Zack Snyder's universe into it. Then he could have gotten the Zack Snyder crowd and fandom. And then if he would have been the guy to bring Zack Snyder back and even direct a Shazam film, then not Shazam, but a Black Adam, like Black Adam 2 or Black Adam versus Superman, everybody would have lost their shit. But again, what was the strategy? We didn't have a strategy. I think the best strategy the fandom has is bitch until you get what you want. Like, that's what it started to sound like. And then people use these argument and talking points to argue amongst themselves to basically create more content. Whether you like it or not, arguments within the fandom creates more content. Arguments against the studio heads creates more content. Arguments, you see the picture? And then at the end of that, I still asked, did boycotting the WB work out for you guys? Because you guys are not seeing the movies to the volume that you say that you want to get what you want to get out of it. And some of you guys say, hey, boycotting, you think that will work? Well, guess what? Boycotting it just put the nail in the coffin for the Snyderverse. And a lot of you guys are going to forget all the shit that you guys have said. From all these weird strategies, from boycotting to this to that to this to that. Once we find another fandom that there's an issue with, you guys are gonna bring the same kind of energy to that fandom and fuck it up. Because to be honest, we had 2 or 3 chances at getting the Snyderverse restored, and every time we employed the same ugly tactics. Now, there was someone else saying that they wanted to do the tweet for the hashtag Snyder Cut, and they even kind of spoke to that. Let's keep this nice, let's keep this fair, let's not be rude. Hey, even if it doesn't hurt you for anything, just tweet out, hey, sell the Snyderverse. It doesn't hurt you none, yada yada. And I liked how that person, I watched Tyrone Magnus read it out, and I thought that was, this person is trying to take the negative out. They trying to present the argument to the studio in good positive faith. That was what we were supposed to lead in, because aggressive good nature was what got us the Snyder Cut, and how you guys handle it is the reason why we'll never get another cut like that again. You'll never see David Ayer's cut. Don't be surprised if you don't ever see it. Only chance we got is if Gunn's movies and directions all bomb. And there's a big possibility it will, and it might not always be because of him specifically, but we will talk about that on another Just to Talk. But until then, I'm going to leave it up to you guys and ask the question I started off with from the very beginning. If you're a Zack Snyder fan and restore the Snyderverse person and all the rest of it just like me, the question I asked for you is, if you was jacking the hashtag boycott WB, I want to know, how did boycotting WB work out for you? That's it for me. Till next time, you already know what to do. Leave it in the comments below. Let me know how you feel about it. And like, share, subscribe. See you next time. And as always, time to bet outro. Chill.